What's good, everyone? Zex here. So, as a continuation, the Ragers and the Kingdom in one fell swoop seem to have lost everything. Almost all the members that transferred over for the fight got knocked out and imprisoned. And there was nothing they could do about it. Once you're imprisoned, unless the tribe that imprisoned you lets you die, you've lost that character. After a few days, and the tribe members seeming to just forget about it, Nuke swallowed his pride and reached out to a friend. He wanted to try to get him and his people out of there. He didn't even care about having the server anymore. He just wanted everyone to have their characters they spent so much time on back. Well, after a few days, he reached out to his members and the Ragers that were captured, and he let them all know, if you can be online at this time, I want everyone to get online. Log into your character. We're going to try to get out of here. Now, most of the people, they didn't know how they were even going to attempt that, but the ones that were able to get online, they did just that. And while they were sitting there talking with each other, miserable, salty, but also laughing, having a good time, it then happened. The turrets around the base that they were in got shut down. Almost all of them. And then a huge flock of wyverns of different elements came down and started braiding everything with their breath attacks. Explosions from rocket launchers were destroying walls. The server itself was getting laggy because the amount of things happening in one spot. And it finally happened. A wyvern landed in front of the building that had most of the cages in. A player had gotten off and started rocketing the walls, and they were able to make their way in. They stuck their wyvern's head through the wall and started blasting every single cage with a player in it, killing Nuke, topside, every member in there. Which for Nuke and them was phenomenal, because that means now they can spawn elsewhere and get out. Once everyone died and that were online, they spawned back in and immediately beelined it to try to get to an obelisk. The wyverns stopped attacking the base and proceeded to follow the best that they could, Nuke and the members trying to guard the obelisks. Well, obviously 99 Problems had members online too, and they were scattering trying to get this done, and it turned into just aerial warfare. The turrets were no longer working. So there was nothing they could do when it came to that. So 99 Problems got on their own wyverns, got on their own PTs. They tried to pick different players off their wyverns. They tried to do wyvern versus wyvern. It was just all out. Whenever whenever a player on one of the wyverns was about to die, or they thought they were going to be captured, they jumped off the wyvern so that they would fall and die instead of being knocked unconscious. After a while, all the members from Rager and the Kingdom finally made their way to an obelisk, and they got their characters out. Now, not everyone was online at the time, but everyone that was able to get killed and out of their cages eventually logged back in, made their way to an ob, and got out. They loaded back into the previous server that they were trying to rebuild it. After everything was done, a player joined the party, and it was Rail. Nuke had reached out to Rail and had asked him Is there any way he can help them get out of the predicament they were in? Now, this whole time since Ral went off and did his own thing, Ral never bothered gathering people to build big bases. They didn't own multiple servers. They moved from server to server, gathering, looting, pillaging, everything. Just PvP, pure PvP. They never made a permanent base. They gathered what they needed and moved on. They destroyed what they needed, moved on, and got stronger in doing so. The most they would stay is at a place long enough for them to hatch and raise whatever creatures they were trying to breed. And when Nuke had reached out to him and asked him for help, Ral was all too thrilled and happy to hear that his friend still needed him. And he was all too happy to say, sure, I will absolutely love to kill you. Where are you guys at? Now, he never wanted to rejoin the kingdom again. He didn't want to deal with the Ragers. He wanted to help out his friends. Now, Nuke was getting messages from 99 Problems now. 99 Problems wanted to actively hunt down and essentially ruin the game for these players. They were salty as fuck. I mean, at the end of the day, a Mega Tribe's biggest weakness is they can't hide. No matter what they do, you'll always know where they're at. You'll know what server they're in. It's not hard to find where they're built. What their biggest weakness is are tribes that grow without a permanent home, because there's no way to target them specifically. Their stuff is too scattered. Ral did just that. He never made a permanent base. He just gathered the PvP members he could and had everyone growing and collecting as they went. They never stayed in a server too long to be hunted down. Once they all returned to the other server, Ral said that he'll always be there to help, but try not to make more problems with Mega Tribes, because, you know, no matter what, you lose more than you gain when you have to go after one of them. Now, they all had the biggest fear. What happens if the Mega Tribe decides to go after them again? Well, the only thing they could do is build up their defenses. That's all they were able to do. So they got back to the grind. They got their members back together. They started building their base up, having fun, breeding, doing artifact runs, started their boss runs, and eventually, as it happens in all Ark, their whole experience did come to an end. They were able to enjoy the game longer. 99 Problems never were able to specifically find and target them. And all three sides went their own way. The Ragers ended up moving to a separate map, and they ended up joining and combining with another up-and-coming growing Mega Tribe. Rager no longer existed from that point. When it came to Ral, him and his members continued to do their tactics. It worked for a while. Actually, for months. For months, they had fun doing it. Just pillaging and moving on, pillaging and moving on. Until eventually, they picked that fight they couldn't win, and they lost all their stuff. And everything with it. They eventually just fizzled out and moved on. The kingdom with Nuke and Topside and their members, they made the stretch. They stayed in that server. They built up even longer. They kept having fun, kept growing, recruiting more. But ultimately, Ark has that way of bearing its fangs on you. They had their fun. Another Mega Tribe made an appearance. Now Nuke was able to secure an actual alliance. He thought that it was a good thing to do. He made an actual alliance with this Mega Tribe. And it provided them with good protection, good trade network. But you know how that works. You ally yourself with one Mega Tribe, that means whatever tribe they're warring against will target you. And Mega Tribes rarely look out for the smaller tribes they're allied with. They'll trade with them, but they won't use full force to defend them. And the kingdom was a casualty of that result. They allied with that one, but when the Mega Tribe went to war, the kingdom were one of the first tribes hit by the opposing side. And a Mega Tribe that hits you in full force leaves nothing behind. Now, they had their fun. It was a start to finish. There's no complaints they had. And then they moved on to the next game that they thought would be best for them. Another survival game, actually. But thank you for listening in. I look forward to the next clip. And as usual, get good.